on the Oubre front, I think both of us probably expected that at least Thursday against Toronto,
Yeah.
Saturday against Phoenix, certainly. And then I think it probably starts to get interesting. I think Nurse alluded to the fact that probably looking at, on an optimistic timeline, Saturday will be the debut for most, if not all, of these guys. And this is look, the rest of the team has this cohesive identity. They spent the whole camp preseason together. Having James away made it so everyone who's here, other than the new guys, has an understanding of playing off of and with one another in this new system. I do sort of think, the more I've thought about it, that I think Batum might get first crack other than Oubre outside of.
I agree.
Outside of Oubre, I think he might get first crack at fifth starter, just because I think between his intelligence, his length, his ability to create for others just a little bit as a passer, the 3-point shooting, certainly a big swing skill, which when he's had good years, he's been a 39-40% shooter. I just think he profiles as a really good Nurse guy. Now, maybe that ends up being, you want that intelligence and that creativity off of the bench in a bench role, and you put someone in the starting lineup that maybe is protected a bit more by Maxey, by Joel, by the other guys that are there. But I think that's kind of where I'm leaning after thinking about it a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm leaning that for a couple of reasons. First, he feels like the best connective piece of the ones that they got, in terms of he will space the floor, or at least he has in years past. Best decision maker with the ball. Used to be the best secondary creator. Probably still is, because no one else from that group is a secondary creator. So even in a lesser state, he still is. And probably just the one that I think Nick Nurse is going to trust the decision making on the most. So I think he is, the most logical fit. The only other one, if it's not going to be Kelly, is, I mean, quite frankly, like, you could see Dan House fitting into a role, just because, again, he can shoot and defend. But I think they're going to give it. I think Batum is the leader. Covington, I guess we'll see. Certainly in the past, he has defensively given you a lot, and I think he's someone who can find some success in the Nick Nurse defense. He was never a one-on-one ball stopper, and I certainly don't think with age he has become that. Mm-hmm. But in terms of forcing turnovers, causing a little bit of chaos, getting out in transition, I think there's a chance he could be it too. But I think Batum is a safe bet.
Yeah, well, because so here would be the argument, if you're saying Batum does all those things and he's trustworthy and all that, well, maybe you need that with the bench group, with the guys that really don't really have a shot creator off the bench that they can turn to and say, we're just going to give you the ball and let you figure things out. And so if you're looking at it from that perspective, you drop Batum in with those guys, he can be a stabilizer to an extent. You slide Rocco into that starting spot and he's essentially protected by the rest of them. But yeah, I think that'd probably be the wrong way to look at it. You just try to put the best 5-man group as you can to start the game and certainly to end games, and let the chips fall where they may.